The terrifying acts of Katherine Knight, Australia's female Ed Gein. Dive into the chilling case of Katherine Knight, an Australian woman whose horrific crimes earned her the infamous title of Australia's female Ed Gein. Prepare yourself for a disturbing journey into the mind of a killer. Katherine Knight's early life was marred by instability and violence. These formative experiences likely contributed to the darkness that would later consume her. Born in 1955 in Taree, New South Wales, Katherine's childhood was far from idyllic. Her family life was reportedly turbulent, marked by frequent arguments and instances of domestic violence. These early exposures to aggression and instability likely had a profound impact on her developing psyche. They may have laid the groundwork for the violent tendencies that would later manifest in her adult life. Even before the ultimate act of horror, Katherine Knight displayed a pattern of violent behavior. Her relationships were often volatile and marked by aggression. Throughout her adult life, Katherine was known for her explosive temper and propensity for physical altercations. She had a history of domestic disputes and restraining orders filed against her. These incidents, while not as extreme as her final crime, served as warning signs of her capacity for violence. They painted a picture of a woman struggling to control her rage. John Price became Katherine Knight's victim in a brutal act of domestic violence. Their relationship was a volatile mix of passion and conflict. John Price, a local miner, entered into a relationship with Katherine Knight, unaware of the darkness that lay within her. Their relationship was characterized by intense arguments and physical confrontations. The dynamic between them was toxic, fueled by jealousy, possessiveness, and a lack of communication. It was a recipe for disaster, ultimately culminating in tragedy. The events of February 29, 2000, remain etched in the annals of Australian crime history. It was a night of unimaginable horror. Following a heated argument, Katherine Knight stabbed John Price to death in their home in Aberdeen, New South Wales. But the horror didn't end there. What followed was an act of unspeakable depravity, transforming a murder into a macabre spectacle. Katherine Knight dismembered John Price's body. Katherine Knight's actions after the murder were truly shocking. She didn't just kill John Price, she desecrated his body in a way that defied comprehension. She skinned his body and hung the skin on a meat hook in the living room. This act alone was enough to shock the conscience, but she wasn't finished. She then proceeded to dismember his body and cook parts of it, seemingly with the intention of feeding them to his children. This act of cannibalism elevated her crime to a level of unparalleled horror. The discovery of the crime scene sent shockwaves through the small town of Aberdeen. The sheer brutality of the act was difficult to comprehend. When police arrived at the scene, they were confronted with a scene of unimaginable horror. The dismembered body